Okay, so as welcome to Sue, who's taking the recording. So welcome to class. So we're going to come to semi-supine. So come down to your mat, lie on your back, and bend your knees, and just take a moment here to let your body settle. So have your hands just slightly away from your body with your palms facing up, and just have your feet about hip distance apart, and try and keep your nose in line with your belly button. So just take a few moments here, allowing the body to settle and just allowing us to get in tune with our breath. So allow your breath to settle to its normal pattern, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And while you're here, take this opportunity to scan through the body. Is there anywhere that's feeling a little bit tense this morning, a little bit tight? When we first get out of bed and we start doing our movements, sometimes it's a bit of an effort just to walk down the stairs. So I think I'm hoping to show you that once we've done this little bit of movement this morning, everything feels a lot better. And it might be as we start to get into our movements that the body feels quite stiff and clunky, but it will get better over the session. So just take a little bit of time with your lower back here and press the back of the pelvis into the mat. So you're creating like a scoop in the belly area, and then send the pelvis away from the mat. So we've got a nice arch there, so you could slide your hands under the lower back if you wanted to. So do that a few times, just rolling through the pelvis. And you can make it small movements or exaggerated movements, whatever feels good for you. And once you've done it a few times, just let your pelvis find that neutral position. So it will just be hanging somewhere between the extended position and being pressed down towards the mat. So there's a much smaller gap now behind the back. Okay, so let's take our hands out into a T shape and have your palms facing down. And have your feet so that they're as wide as your mat. The knees are pointing up to the ceiling, feet as wide as the mat, shoulders resting down on the mat. And take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, drop both knees over to the right. So just making sure that you're keeping your shoulders in contact with the mat. And then take a breath in. Bring the knees back up so that they're pointing to the ceiling, and as you breathe out, drop them both to the left. So this is the movement. We're going to add a little bit onto it in a minute. So we're going to breathe in, knees up to center. As you breathe out, drop them to the right. Turn and gaze to your left hand. Breathing in, bring your knees up to center. Breathing out, drop the knees to the left, turn and gaze to your right. I'm just going to add one more thing here. So doing this with your breath, breathe in to bring the knees up, breathing out to send them to the right. So when you look to your left hand, the palm is down and the right palm is up. So reach that right palm away from you. And then breathe in. Bring the knees back up. As you breathe out, drop the knees to the left, turn the left palm up, the right palm down, turn and look to the right. So the hand that's behind you is the one that's extending and you're reaching your fingertips out. So just add into that cross-body stretch. Just do this with your breath a few times. Knee comes to the center, you drop the knees to the one side, you gaze to the other side, and the back hand is reaching away from you with the palm facing up. You're rotating. Your shoulders are getting a nice rotation at the same time. So just keep this going for a few more. Just a few more swivels, a few more waking up of the hips and the knees and the shoulders. That's it. And I'm making you use your brains as well, first thing in the morning. That's the challenge, remembering the move. So the next time you drop your knees to the left, make that the last time. And then bring your knees back to center. So position your feet so that they're hip distance apart. And then take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just lift your lower legs so that the legs are coming into this sort of, it's like tabletop position, but reverse. And there's a gap between your knees. So imagine that you're squeezing a block between those knees. So you're holding your legs quite strong. If you've got a block handy, you can put it there and you can squeeze and hold the block. If you haven't got one, it doesn't matter. Just imagine that it's there. So you notice that your tummy muscles engage when you do this. So just pay attention to your lower back. We don't want that to come too far away from the mat. So don't make too much of an arch there. Just keep this core strong. So taking a breath in, bend your elbows and send your hands back so that they're in a cactus position. And again, don't worry if the hands don't touch the floor. My right one does, my left one doesn't. So just in this cactus position, bent elbows, elbows are out at shoulder height. Keep the tummy strong. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, reach the left hand along the mat. So it's straightening behind you. Breathe in, draw it back to cactus. Breathe out, straighten the right one. Breathe in. So rotate through the hands here. Left hand reaches. As you breathe out, breathe in. Keep the focus on the tummy. Keep that strength in your knees. If you keep imagining you're squeezing something between your legs, it takes the focus off the strength in the tummy because you're having to keep the whole of the lower body strong. So just moving through one arm, then the other, reaching the hands along the back of the mat. So the back of the hands is sliding on the mat. Okay, so the next time you do your right hand, make that the last one. And then keeping in this position, take a breath in. As you breathe out, slide both hands along the mat. Reach those fingertips away. Breathe in, come back to cactus. Just do 3 of these, reaching the hands away. Your core will thank me later. And then keep reaching with that exhalation. And just hold this last one nice and strong. Reach the fingertips away. And then release the hands and hug your knees up to your chest. Oh, that feels good, doesn't it? Have a little roll from side to side. Do whatever feels good. Maybe a little circular movement with the back of the pelvis. Just change the direction. And then take your hands to the backs of your thighs and take your time here and roll your back on the mat. So don't come up straight away. Have a nice roll, warming up the spine all the way from the base of the spine to the base of the skull. And then come up to seated. So from this seated position, we're going to come around to all fours, and we're going to do it in a nice, elegant way. So we're going to cross our feet at the ankles, bring them back towards your heels, and just roll over the legs. And there you are, you're in all fours. Just like that. So from all fours position, make sure that your toes are tucked into the mat. So we're keeping our feet nice and strong here. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Keep this all fours position. So we're going to come into a thread the needle, but we're going to do it slightly differently. So taking a breath in, as you breathe out, take your right hand and slide it behind the left hand and just reach. So reach as far as feels comfortable for you. So you feel the twist in the upper body. And then as you breathe out, bring the hand back, sit the hips back towards your heels and put the hand behind your right ear and open the elbow. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Open the elbow up. So what we're doing here is we're working the upper parts of the body. So come back to all fours, slide the hand back through. You might go a little bit deeper this time. And then breathing out, the hand goes behind the head. You sit back and then you open. Feel the difference, it's opening the upper back. And then back to all fours, slide the hand through. So if you're feeling a little bit more mobile, maybe your right shoulder, your right ear goes down to the mat. And then breathing out. Bring the elbow up to the ear, but sit back. Breathe in, back to all fours. Release the hand. So we're going to do the other side. So take a breath in. Reach this left hand behind the right hand, only as far as is comfortable for you. And then as you breathe out, bring the hand back behind the head, sit back towards the heels, open up. So you've got the movement. So we're reaching as far as we feel comfortable. And then when we come up, we sit back, hand behind the head, open the chest. So each one you do, maybe you'll sink a little deeper. Good look at you. That's it. So remembering to sit back before you put that hand behind the head. Brilliant. You can feel the difference. It's worth doing one move with your all fours position and taking the elbow up and noticing the difference to taking the elbow and opening up when you're sitting back. It's opening a different part of your back. And both are good, but today we're doing a bit more emphasis on our opening our shoulders. So that's why I'm getting you to sit back. Okay, so come back to all fours. So we're in this all fours position, and just walk your hands a little bit further forward towards the top of your mat, and then sink your hips back into extended child's. So take your forehead down towards the mat. Find that nice stretch to the backs of the arms. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, bring yourself up and forward. Send your hips towards your hands and come into almost an up dog, but not quite. Just working through the spine. Breathe in, breathe out, extended child's. Reaching the arms forward. Breathe in to come back up. Breathe out, send your hips towards your hands. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, just gaze forward. That's it. Let's do a few more of these. So we're hinging through the hips and the shoulders, warming everything up. So it feels good. And when we first get out of bed, we think there's no way we can do something like this. Because even I am like really stiff and clunky when I first get out of bed. So this is a great move to counter it. There we are. So the next time you sit back into child's, make that your last one. And then walk your hands towards your knees and bring yourself up into a high kneel. So we're going to just do a little bit of work on our shoulders. So take a breath in, float your hands out in front of you. Keep your tummy muscles engaged, so nice straight spine here. Make fists with your hands. So we're going to breathe in, moving our shoulders forward, breathing out, sending them back, breathing in, bringing them up towards our ears, breathing out, sending them down. So it's that box movement with the shoulders. So sending them forward, sending them back, bringing them up, and sending them down. So really exaggerate the movement. Forwards, back, as you squeeze the shoulder blades together, up to the ears, and send them down. Just do one more of those. Shoulders are nice and loose now. And then come back down to your all fours. So from this all fours position, we're going to do 3 cat-cows, but again in a slightly different position. So sit the hips back towards the heels. So we're not sitting right down, we're just holding back about halfway. And we're going to round through the spine, dropping the chin towards the chest, breathing in, breathing out, and then breathe in and breathe out, and send the chin and the chest forward and squeeze the shoulder blades together, still keeping those hips back. So it's the cat-cow movement, but just sitting back towards the heels. And again, we're really getting into the upper back by doing this. So just moving on the out breath, coming into our cat-cows. So we've done 3 of those. And then bring yourself back to all fours. And now do a normal cat-cow. Notice the difference. So press into the mat, drop the head as you breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, and send the chest and the chin forward. Hopefully you can notice the difference. When you do it this way, the movement is more into the mid-back. When we do it this way, sitting back, we get more of a movement up into the upper back and the shoulders, where we get really stiff and we don't really move that. So hands into the mat, hands are as wide as your shoulders, knees under your hips. Take a breath in, Breathing out, lift your knees and your hips. Let's come to downward facing dog, our first one. So drop your head through your arms and walk your heels, one, then the other, easing out. Should be feeling good now. After that movement, feel walking of the heels. Keep the heels down towards the mat now. Just hold it for 1 or 2 breaths. And then walk your feet towards your hands, coming into a forward fold. Have a bend in your knees if you need to. Take a breath in. Slide your hands up your shins. Find that half forward fold, that nice flat back. Send the crown of the head out in front of you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Slide your hands all the way back to the mat. And then breathing in, come up slowly, stacking the vertebrae in the spine, one at a time. Coming up to stand. Well done. Everyone feeling okay? Yeah, good. Got some thumbs up. So standing up straight and tall, let's just release our neck a little bit. So drop your chin towards your chest and then sweep it up towards your right shoulder and then drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Try and keep the left shoulder down and then just roll the head gently back, not too much. Just be mindful of the back of the neck. Over to the left side and then tuck the chin back towards the front. So let's do that once more on the other side, rolling it over, sending your ear towards the shoulder, keeping the shoulders down, come back to center. Well done. One more little thing to release upper back and shoulders. So we're going to stand up straight and tall. We're going to take our hands behind our back and have our knuckles together. So the hands are just resting on the lower back. And then we're going to squeeze the elbows forward. And then as you breathe in, open the elbows and send them back. Lift the hands away from the back. So that changes it a little bit. Send the hands back behind you with the palms facing away. Turn the palms so that they go up and lift the hands to shoulder height. And then turn the palms back down. So this is an internal rotation of the shoulders. Send them all the way back behind you. Knuckles together away from the back. And then bring them into the back and wrap those elbows around. So it's a really good movement of the shoulders. So start again. We take the elbows back. We move the hands away. Release the hands. Roll through those shoulders. Palms are up. Bring the hands up to shoulder level. I'll turn to the side now. And then turn them over. Send them back. Bring the knuckles together. We're away from the back. And then rest them on the lower back and draw the elbows in. Open them out once more, keeping the hands away from the back. You notice the difference when you have to do that. And then send the hands back behind you. Turn the hands so the palms are facing up. Bring them back to shoulder height. And then release. Well done. Have a little shrug. So hopefully we're feeling really loose and ready for some flowing movements. So we're going to stand up straight and tall, taking a breath in, reach your hands out wide, reach up and overhead. And as you breathe out, you're going to swan dive all the way down to the mat, fingertips to the mat. So bend your knees as much as you need to. And then breathe in, slide your hands up to your shins, half forward fold. Breathing out, hands to the mat. Bend your knees so that you can plant your hands and step back into downward facing dog. Just take a breath here in down dog. And then as you breathe in, shift the weight forward, bring the right knee up to the chest, round the spine, come up on those back toes, give yourself more space, and step the foot forward. So the right foot is coming towards your right hand. Drop your left knee. Breathing in, come up onto the fingertips as you lift your chest away from your knee. So it's a squat position here. Breathe in, breathe out, release. And then plant your left hand down in the mat. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, reach the right hand up to the ceiling. Release the hand back to the mat. Let's do that 3 times. Reaching up, breathing in, breathing out. And on the last one, maybe you want to straighten that back leg. It's an option. You don't have to do that. So if that feels good, straighten the back leg, reaching the arm overhead. So we're going to work our way back to down dog. So you can drop the knee if you want to, or you can come from here, hand back to the mat, and just release the right leg. Downward facing dog. Take a breath and then walk your feet all the way back to your hands. Uttanasana, forward fold. Take a breath in, slide your hands up to your shins, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Breathe in, breathe out, hands back to the mat. Breathing in, take your hands out wide, come up with a strong, straight spine. Reaching up and breathing out. Hands to the heart center. Just take a moment here. That will have got your heart rate up a little bit. Might be feeling your heart under your fingertips. And your breath will be a little bit more, you're a bit more aware of it. So we're going to do all of that on the other side. So stand here in Tadasana, relax your shoulders. Take a breath in, reach your hands out wide, up and overhead. And then breathing out, swan dive down to the mat. Breathing in, hands to the shins, half forward fold. Breathing out, hands back to the mat. Bend your knees enough so that you can make that connection. And then we're going to step the left leg and then the right leg back into downward facing dog. Find your down dog. Drop your head towards your inner arms. Your ears are in line with your inner arms. Take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, shift your weight forward. Bring the left knee up to your chest, round the spine. Come up on your right toes. Step the foot forward. It's easier if you make that extra bit of space. Drop the right knee down to the mat. Breathe in, come up onto the fingertips, lifting the chest away from the leg. And then breathing out and releasing the hands back to the mat. Plant your right hand, take a breath in. Float this left arm up to the ceiling. Breathing out, send it back. Let's do it 3 times. Floating the arm up, getting that twist, and then releasing. And then after you've done your 3, maybe with the arm reaching up, you can straighten the back leg. So just hold in here for a breath. And then release the hand back to the mat. We're coming back to down dog, so you can drop that right knee if you want to, or step back into downward facing dog. And then breathing in. Walk your feet all the way to your hands. Back into a forward fold. Breathe in. Hands to the shins, half forward fold. Breathing out, hands to the mat. Breathing in, hands out wide, strong, straight spine. Bring yourself back up. Well done. So we're going to do a sun salutation. We've got time just to fit one in before we finish. So it's a bit similar to what we just did, but with some little extras. So nice and warmed up now. So stand up straight and tall. Just standing at the front of your mat. Taking a breath in, reach your hands up, look to your hands, and as you breathe out, just a mini back bend. Breathing in, back to center, breathing out, diving down to the mat. Breathing in, hands to the shins, half forward fold. Breathing out, hands back to the mat. Plant your hands, bend your knees, step back into a plank position. Now you can plank on your knees. You don't need to be in this full plank if it's not good for you. And then we're going to lower ourselves down to the mat. So there's options here. You can come from your knees and bend your elbows and bring yourself down, or you can chaturanga down to the mat, which is taking a breath in, knees to the mat, cross your feet at the ankles, lower. Or the third and the toughest one is breathe in, breathe out, keep the legs straight, lower slowly. And then come to cobra. So whichever one you did, we come into our cobra. Take a breath in here, toes into the mat, breathing out, downward facing dog. Woo. Take a breath. Breathing in, breathing out, and walk your feet all the way back to your hands. Dropping the crown of the head. Breathing in, coming up slowly, stacking the vertebra one at a time. Breathing in, reach the hands up and overhead. Breathing out, hands to the heart center. That warm you up? Yes. Okay, so we're just going to do one more. And then we're going to move on. So taking a breath in, reaching up, breathing out, mini back bend. Breathing in, back to center, breathe out, dive to the mat. Breathe in, coming up to your shins. Breathing out, hands to the mat. Bend your knees, plant your hands, step back into a plank. So remember the option, you can plank on your knees. Or if you, and you've got the 3 ways to get down, so you decide which one is going to be. If you're building your upper body strength, then try the same as me. So engage your tummy muscles, take a breath in, send the elbows back, lower to the mat. Breathe in, breathe out, cobra pose. Just lifting your chest, squeeze the shoulder blades. Breathe in, breathe out, toes into the mat, lifting to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And then breathing in, walk your feet all the way to your hands. Forward fold. Breathing in, hands to the shins. Breathing out, hands back to the mat. And then breathing in, coming up, slowly, slowly stacking the vertebra. Reaching your hands up and overhead as you take a breath in. And breathe out. Hands to the heart center. So, hopefully, you're feeling warmed up, a little bit looser. Maybe you're breathing a little bit faster like me. So let's just let it settle. And we're going to try a little balance. So take a few breaths before we start. So we've got nice, warmed up, open shoulders now. So we're gonna go into eagle pose. So let's just do our arms first. So take your hands out in front of you with the palms facing. There's a gap and then bring the elbows so that they cross. Bring the hands back towards your body, and maybe you can wrap the hands around one another so that the palms come towards each other. So you're really opening the shoulders here. So the right arm is on top of the left arm. Keep your tummy muscles engaged, keep your ribs pointing down, so don't flare them forward or back. We'll take a breath in here and feel the shoulders open, and then release. A little shrug. And let's try the other side. So float the hands out in front of you. This time the left elbow goes on top of the right. Bend the hands towards you. Bring the palms together. So another thing you can think about here is to lift the elbows so that they're in line with your shoulders. You're really opening the backs of the shoulders. Keep the tummy engaged. Holding these Garandasana arms, eagle arms. And then release. Have a little shrug. So should we try the legs? So if you want to be near something that you can touch to keep your balance. So we're going to take the weight into the left foot. In fact, no, let's try something different. Let's sit down as if we're coming into a chair. So both knees are bent. So find a drishti somewhere, find a point of focus, and then slowly start to lift your right leg and take it over the left. So the toes can be on the mat. Let me show you this way. Toes can still be on the mat. And then as you find your balance, maybe they'll lift up and come around the back of the leg. Just giving this a little test. And then release. Let's try the other side. One side can be totally different to the other. So sitting down as if you're going to sit on the chair, and then lifting the left leg, wrapping it around and toes to the mat, and then maybe you can lift and tuck them behind. And then bringing yourself back up. So anybody up for trying both? Let's give it a go, shall we? Go near something that you can touch in case you lose your balance. So we're going to bend our knees. We're going to take a breath in, find our drishti, wrap the right leg around and behind the left leg, float our hands out in front of us, take the left arm and put it on top of the right. And sitting down into your eagle pose, Garandasana. Lift those elbows. Keep the tummy muscles engaged. And then unravel. Well done. Brilliant. Let's try the other side. Sit down into your chair. Lift the left leg, wrap it around. So left leg is on top of right leg. Arms float out in front of you. Right arm on top of left arm. And lift the elbows. Well done. Release the hands, release the legs. So let's come down to the mat. Let's stand up straight and tall. Taking a breath in, reach your hands up and overhead. And as you breathe out, dive them all the way down to the mat. Come into Uttanasana. Just noticing this feels good. And then bend your knees and come down into an all fours position. Take your knees wide, toes together. Sink back into child's pose. Wow, we've only got a few minutes left of the class and she's finally given us a child's pose. That's good, isn't it? Better late than never, that's what I say. So take a breath here. And then bring yourself up to all fours. And just sit back over your feet and release them forward and come back into your semi-supine position. So where we started. Take your hands out into a T position, feet wide. So we're going to repeat that movement that we did at the start of the class. And hopefully everything's going to feel a lot better. So your nose is in line with your belly button, your feet are wide, hands are out, palms facing down. Take a breath in, breathe out, knees to the right, gaze to the left, right hand is reaching up to the ceiling. Breathe in, breathe out. So you're turning the hands, you're taking the knees over to the other side and you're gazing to the right hand this time. Just do a few of these with your breath. Just noticing how you feel. Maybe your knees are coming closer to the mat now. Maybe the shoulders feel a lot looser, the head and neck feels a lot looser. I hope so. For the next time you drop your knees to the left, make that the last one. And then bring your knees to the center and hug them up and over your chest. Have a little rock and roll from side to side. And if you can, you can slide your hands down the insides of your legs and grab hold of your feet or your toes or your leggings. Just come into happy baby. Encourage those knees towards your armpits and have a little rock again. Happy baby pose. And then taking a breath in. As you breathe out, just let go of your arms and your legs coming into Shavasana. So if you want to grab hold of your blankets or anything that you need, the relaxation, something under your head or another layer, then just do that. Come down to the mat. Find your Shavasana. So as you lie out on the mat, take a few moments to let your body release. All your work is done. I hope you're feeling a lot more mobilized now after your session. Well done, everybody, for getting up. So just allow your body to relax into the mat, working from the crown of the head, down the spine, over your shoulders, your back body, releasing as you go, your arms and your hips and your legs. And give yourself these few moments, allowing yourself to rest in Shavasana. And I'm going to say goodbye, good morning, and namaste. You rest, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.